Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a Schizo's Guide to the Galaxy podcast. This may be a bit of a ramble, but it's a point I want to try and get out for numerous reasons. And that's on the subject of psychics and so-say psychics and channelers and stuff like that. Now, there'll be many videos on these subjects from people who are pro-psychic and channeler, people who are against it. There'll be people who will suggest a lot of these psychics are fraudsters, using things like cold reading, which is something you'll have to Google and look up because I don't understand it 100% enough to articulate it clearly. But cutting a long story short, I want to imagine a scenario that you're walking along the street and someone comes up to you and they give you some information, like some psychic information. They class it as they may give you a message, a cryptic message about something what's happened in your life, which they have no idea, they should have no idea about. Some information they may give to you, which they shouldn't have any idea to, like for example, someone will walk up to you and go, "Oh, I know your father died last year, and he's waiting to speak to you. Also, we know that I know that in your house you have a blue vase and you smashed it recently," or just something cryptic like that, and it'll just take you aback. Like, how did they know? And they might just walk off and disappear into the ether, or they might give you a business card to contact them for future reference if you want to talk more about it. Now, I know that's an occurrence in some people's lives. I know people seek out psychics and people seek out channelers and that to receive messages from past loved ones or for future reference on whether, excuse me, excuse me, whether they're going to find the love of their life or come into fortune or whatever. I mean, divination, the people seeking out oracles and mystics and channelers and psychics is as old as humanity, as far as I understand. We do have also as well, like shamans in tribal communities, which are they're all across the world, shamans, and they're normally the wise people of their tribal community. And you could argue that we're missing out on shamans in our society because we're so widespread and interconnected that we don't have those wise men to turn to anymore. But coming back to the point, and I've got nothing against shamans whatsoever, but genuine shamans like in the Amazonian basin and parts of rural Africa, although I wouldn't personally want to go and see one. I'm not saying that they're all frauds or kooks or whatever. There's traditions and there's situational differences between some people, which so I don't discredit all psychics, I don't discredit all shamans, more so the ones who invade. And what I mean by invade is that they'll come along and just drop you a message, which startles you or might make you feel excited or might make you feel fearful or might make you feel confused. I'm against people like that. I don't like people like that. And I don't like to use the term I don't like to use the term hate, but I'm very mistrusting of them. And I'll try, because this is going to be a bit of a ramble, put my reasons why I don't like that. Now, for a start, it's invasive. Someone comes up to you and gives you some really personal information which no one should know. That's invasive. That's an invasion of your privacy. That's, and their justification for that will normally be that they've got to give you an important message. They've got to give you an important message from the other side. And again, I'm going to get to where I think that's dangerous. Now, different belief systems, different reality tunnels, different religions, different faiths, different perceptions, believe in spirits, believe in energy beings, believe in higher, there's a multitude of different belief systems out there, from light beings to spirits to channeled beings from different star systems or dimensions. It's endless. And if you listen to the episode 2 of the podcast, you'll hear my thoughts on what I think about energy manifestation in terms of like dimensional beings, so to speak, to a degree. I'm not going to go on about it now. Please watch the other podcast, episode 2, Ramble Down the Rabbit Hole with Rad and Zen. But anyway, I do believe 100% that every human has an auric field, an energy field, and we're connected to the divine force of creation. And I'm not talking about any divine force of creation in any written text or book or Bible, although some have pointed towards it. I sincerely believe it's close to a term of panpsychism, where all the universe is conscious. The universe is a conscious entity. All the atoms are conscious. All the rocks are conscious. The plants are conscious. And human beings go up the ladder of higher consciousness in some form or other. Now, there are, in my perception, beings what surround us. or what I prefer to call them rather than beings, are forms of energy. They can be the spirits of those who have not moved to the light, those who are deceased and not moved to the light. They can be a multitude of other things as well, which I may discuss in another podcast, or I covered in episode 2, Ramble Down a Rabbit Hole, other dimensions of energy. And they're all vying for their own existence. Because when something doesn't go back to source energy, when something doesn't go back to the force of creation, when something moves on from the physical realm or gets transmuted from the physical realm into another dimension and doesn't go back to source, it needs energy to survive. It needs soul essence. It needs spirit. It needs life force to survive, to sustain its own existence. So I believe that these entities, these beings, these forms of energy surround us all. And some people believe they follow us from life to life, if you believe in reincarnation. Some people do, and they believe we have spirit guides, or other forms call them jinn, or other forms call them energy beings or guardians. I call some of them energy parasites. And what I mean by that is that these are entities that feed off of our auric field. They feed off of our energy. They feed off of our life force to keep themselves in existence on a dimensional level. Now, these things are on a different frequency to what our five senses can generally pick up, okay? But they're there, in my opinion, okay? Now, so-called psychics, so-called channelers and readers and these people, they have these entities as well. But for whatever reason, they have a connection to them. And they have a connection to them, and they may think they're speaking to the god of Egypt, Ra or something, or they may think they're speaking to a deceased loved one, or they may think they're speaking to a channeled being, or they may think they're speaking to a guardian angel. But in my perception and in my belief system is that they're speaking to these energy parasites. And these energy parasites can act like a chameleon. If you believe in Christianity, they can adopt the form of Jesus. If you believe in aliens, they can adopt the form of channeled aliens. If you believe in gods of Egypt, they can appear in the forms of gods of Egypt. They will shift their perception they give to you, depending on your reality tunnel in which you are seeking, presenting, or open to, or susceptible to. Now, these energy beings, like I said, feed off of our auric energy, feed off of our auric energy field, and they can only do that really if sometimes our aura is weak, and our aura gets weak or fluctuates, should I say, if our aura fluctuates. And our aura fluctuates, gets weak if we're sometimes highly excited, highly anxious, highly fearful. Our energy field fluctuates, gets bigger and smaller, bigger and smaller. And sometimes there's cracks in some people's auras when they've been through severe trauma, been through, shock and stuff like that. Now, when these energy beings are there, say around a psychic, and they may be walking along this psychic and it's got this energy being around it, the energy being may be walking past an individual such as myself, okay, or approaching an individual such as myself, and they may see the energy being around you. Now, they may not do so much as see the energy being around you, but the parasite, their guardian, their spirit guide may say, that person over there crashed their car last year and blah, 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 blah. And give them a whole range of snippets of information. Now, that psychic then, that human being may be enticed to walk up to you and give you that message. And that can take you aback. Now, you may ask, how does this psychic, know all this information in the first place? And it's an exchange. And what I mean by that is that the psychic's energy parasite and your energy parasite, or the psychic spirit and your spirit, may communicate with one another. Now, that entity may see my entity, that manifestation of energy may see my manifestation of energy, and they may communicate. And you may say to yourself, why would they communicate? And the reason they would communicate is because they need that auric food. They need that energetic food to feed upon. Now, in the exchange, if the psychic comes up to me and gives me some startling information, I may be startled or excited, but my energy will fluctuate. And through that fluctuation, both the energy parasite attached to the psychic and my energy parasite will be fed. So there's a mutual exchange going on between the energy parasites and the interconnection and the hosted connection between the psychic. I hope this is making sense because it's a bit convoluted. So the psychic may drop you a message, it may startle you, your energy parasite gets fed through this being startled, and their energy parasite gets fed through being startled. Now, the psychic then and the entity will still want more food. So they may say, come meet me for further readings, come meet me for further information. And it's almost like a drug dealer, giving you a hit and then wanting more. And sometimes some of these psychics may think they're really well-being and they're doing good and they offer their services for free. Some of them may offer it for money. And either way, for free or for money, it's still an exchange on the energetic level, these energy parasites. And especially if it's for money, I mean, wow, I'm not even going there. And I'm not saying all psychics are like this, and I'm not saying all psychics are bad, but I'm just putting a warning out there for some people, who may have had an experience or having experiences with this, or wondering about this, or wondering my peculiar perceptions on this. But we've got to be really careful, because it can lead to further confusion in the person who gets the message. The person who got the message, if it's made them excited, may make them so excited that they fail to look at their life around them. They fail to look at what's important in this direct experience. They fail to look important what's their loved ones. Like, for example, a psychic may say, you're going to meet a woman, you're going to meet a man with dark hair, and he's going to have a child with you, and you're going to travel the world together and stuff like that. And that may really excite the person. Trouble is, she's already in a relationship, and she may start seeking actively for this dark-haired individual who the psychic describes to her, in the hopes to have a child with him. She's always wanted a child, and say maybe the partner doesn't want to have a child, and the person may go and break up or destroy their direct life relationship with their partner through seeking this other partner. And on energy dynamics, they may find that person. They may think they find that person. They may find that person with another energy parasite. That person may have an energy parasite they meet, and it can cause catastrophe in their lives even further, unseen, which the psychic didn't warn them about. Excuse me. Now, I think we've got to be really careful with these people and these things and these entities, because my point being is that we are all entities attached to universal consciousness, attached to universal life force, attached to, some call it God, some call it the Tao, some call it car energy, sorry. We're all connected to this life force. And it's a really deep subject which warrants further investigation for every individual, really, let alone the academic profession. The trouble is with the academic professions is that they study psychology on a neurological basis, a biological basis, a physical basis of neurons firing and synapses firing and chemicals rushing around the body. And they don't take into equation the metaphysical energy dynamics, which they don't understand yet, because we haven't devised clear technologies. There are people devising such technologies, such as things like biogeometry and other such stuff. But my point being is that the medical establishment and the main academic establishment is not open to the psychic phenomena at all, in any way. And the psychic world is really ungrounded, a lot of it, not all of it, but a lot of it's really ungrounded in psychology and science. We need to have a meeting of both, between science and mysticism, to move forward in life, in my opinion. Now, as these psychics then get you to come for a tarot reading or a crystal reading or whatever it may be, and like I said, I'm not saying all these are bad. Their energy parasite, again, you've opened up more now. You've had the initial contact with a psychic, and you've gone to the psychic for a private reading, and you've gone into their domain, normally into their boutique, into their mystical house where they got their rooms and their crystals and all kinds of stuff like that. Now you have gone there and you're open. You're energetically open to hearing more messages, okay? Right? And your parasite or your energy entity will be hovering around you, and so will the psychics, and they will be in conversation. Now, it's not like it's going to be a full-blown conversation between the psychic and the entity, because it's not like the entity's going to just go blah, 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 discuss in plain English what it's perceiving or what it's receiving from the other spirit. And the other spirits may have their own agendas as well, okay? But the psychic will be in communication and normally see a series of visions, glimpses of powerful visions, glimpses of words coming through, colors, and all kinds of stuff. And they'll give you further readings. And these further readings may confirm more stuff to you, that the psychic is genuine, the psychic is a psychic, yet you're opening up even more, giving energy to your parasite, because it's feeding off of you and fluctuating, and giving energy to the psychic's parasite as it's receiving energy from the psychic because she's getting confirmation from you. It's a vicious cycle, it's a vicious feedback loop. My attitude is that meditation, grounded Vipassana, mindfulness meditation, getting to know your spirit and mind is a tool we all need to use. My perception, which I'm coming to, is prayer, the linking of hands together, which has been found throughout all different cultures and faiths, is the linking of your energy circuits in your body which some people call meridians in the Chinese system. Others call it nadis, I think it is, in the yogic system. But we're energetic beings. And I think that prayer, when you put your sincere intent into a prayer and you call out to the higher good, you can make your own prayer. There are various different forms of prayer, but you basically call out to the universe, dear universe, I seek guidance. Dear God, if you believe in God, I seek guidance and protection from evil and protection from deception. It's something you'd have to look into yourself. But I think sincere prayer to the universe from your heart is the best form of protection from these flaky, manipulative so-called sidekicks. Also other things, diet, eating right, sleeping right, and also there's numerous things you can do to protect yourself from negative energy, so to speak. So like I said, sleep, food, there's things that you can look at like feng shui or cleaning your house with energy, like smudging it and stuff like that, which ancient Native Americans used to do. There's also things, like I said, prayer, meditation. It's unfortunately, if someone's come into your life, a sidekick, and dropped a bomb with a powerful message, you've unfortunately been, in my eyes, invaded. Your energy and privacy has been invaded. So unfortunately now, you're probably going to be like either really excited and running down a rabbit hole of possibility, or you're going to be really fearful and ruminating things. And either one's going to be feeding these energy parasites. And so unfortunately, if that's happened to you, you're now in this whole new reality tunnel, this whole new perception of reality, like what's going on. So my only advice to anyone is to ground yourself. Ground yourself. There's numerous grounding techniques you can look up on the internet. I've mentioned some of them. And protect yourself. And I do feel for anyone who's unfortunately been opened up to this reality tunnel in an invasive way. And I wish you all the best. I'm open to discuss this with anyone in the future. If they want to do a podcast, if they're pro psychic, if they're negative psychic, and we can have a little discussion. But peace out. That's my thoughts on it.